What up, everybody? Welcome back to another live edition of Cafecito and Canes. Please do not forget, go down and hit that like button and the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And right there is my Twitter or X handle. Please throw me a follow on there. So we got some stuff to go over. Over the last week, some more, I guess, predictions and more predictions and expectations have come in from media. When I say media, I mean like outside of Miami, like third-party media, non-partial. The other day, I don't know exactly what day it was, but our boy Josh Pate over at 24/7, who has a great show. I think he's one of the top guys out there as far as covering college football. He does a phenomenal job. Has been bullish on Miami for a couple of years now, and has, he was a fan of the crystal ball hire back in 2021, and he, kind of sees what the fans see. And, and he's always preached, hey, patience, give it time. I think Mario will set it right. And the other day, again, I don't remember which day it was exactly, but he comes out and predicts that we're going to finish 11-1 in 2024. Even with him, I was surprised to hear that because he's very, again, bullish on Miami, but he still keeps it pretty realistic. He says he has Miami going 11-1. JD Pickell of On3, also great job covering college football. He did his season predictions for a lot of teams. He did Miami's. This was probably 2-3 weeks ago or something like that. He's got Miami going 11-1. He's actually got Miami losing to Florida, but then going on an 11-game run. What's up, Firefighter? Yes, please smash the like button. And yeah, he had us pretty much running the table after losing to Florida. That's his prediction. But besides that, I saw, of course, one of Miami's mortal enemies in college football media. That's Paul Feinbaum, of course. He was asked on ESPN, who does he think is the most underrated team in the top 25? Because the top 25, both AP and coaches poll, have come out, and they both have Miami at number 19. He thinks that in the entire top 25, the most underrated team is Miami. I couldn't believe my ears. I could not believe what he said. He actually decided to come down from his SEC high horse and be real with us. And he was like, yeah, no, I look at this roster. I see, the improvements they've made. And this is what he said, which is what I've been saying the entire offseason. It's like, look, they lost 4 games pretty much at the buzzer, a couple of them to really good teams. And the 5th loss was one that shouldn't have even happened, that Mario just gave away because he didn't take a knee. I'm like, yeah, that's all fair points. And yeah, like, it was a very like non-Kool-Aid drinking kind of like prediction. Like, yeah, look, this team has improved a lot. They got a great quarterback. I think they're the most underrated team. Then they ask Heather Dinich, who also has, in the past had her criticisms about Miami, but she said the same thing. She also agrees that Miami was the most underrated team in the top 25. Basically, she was saying, look, all the talent you've brought in, just, no one's going to forget about not taking a knee against Georgia Tech. But if you just don't make any mistakes like that again, parlay the talent into wins, you could win this ACC. It's up for grabs. So I saw that, and I was like, okay, Josh Pate has us going 11-1. JD Pickell has us going 11-1. Uncle Lou has a great channel on YouTube. He's been covering college football a long time, big SEC guy. He had us going 6-6 last year. He actually wasn't far off. He has us going 10-2 this year. Paul Feinbaum, Heather Dinich says we're the most underrated team in the top 25. Let's see who else. Vegas has us at 9.5 over under. And then another one I saw today, Joel Klatt, who's not always super high on Miami. Even he has us at number 12. He did a full top 25 poll of his own. He has us at number 12. So I look at all that. What's my point? If it's like here and there, like you see one person here, one person there, people in the fan base like really propping up Miami saying, "Oh, this is the year, this is the year," when, for after so many years it hasn't been. Yeah, you call it hype. But when it's like almost everyone across the board saying it, aside from, Florida fans or supporters, obviously, but if pretty much every third party person out there in college football saying, yeah, Miami's looking pretty good this year, if everybody across the board saying it, I don't know. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe there's something to it. Now, we're not used to having nice things. Okay. I understand that. And we have fall camp about, like a week and a half left, whatever it is, of fall camp. And we start preparation for Florida. We got one more scrimmage, according to the schedule that came out for practice at the beginning of fall camp. There should be one more final scrimmage this Saturday. Just please get through that clean. We're almost there. The team is pretty healthy. The finish line is almost there. Just get through fall camp healthy. That was like my main goal for this team. Get through fall camp healthy and just get through that first hump at Florida, which basically is just take care of the football. Don't let those crazy plays happen that can put you in a hole, like, I don't know, getting a blocked punt, getting one of your punts blocked, or, you fumble a snap deep in your territory and then Florida has the ball like on your 10-yard line. You throw a pick six on the first possession, stuff like that. Avoid those, those plays that can cause some mayhem early in the game, and you'll be okay. Just get through that first test. And that test is all up here because we have the better roster. There's nothing you could say to like convince me otherwise. You know what I mean? But I don't know. The more I hear, the more confident I start to feel. Again, just get through fall camp healthy, which, they're doing a great job of that so far. Keep doing that. I'm speaking into existence. I think it's going to happen. We're going to get through fall camp pretty unscathed, and we'll go into that first game with a full squad, and we're going to come ready to play. Preparation, that's another thing. Hopefully we will be prepared for this game, because that's one thing that's really plagued us over the last 20 years, not being prepared for games. Yes, Richard, they will be our toughest game, I think. First or second toughest, it's them or Florida State. I think if y'all beat Florida, you should win 11. If y'all lose, it could fall apart. That's fair. That could happen if they let it get to their heads, if they let it get into their psyche. But hopefully they got enough veterans and they got enough dudes, like leaders, that they wouldn't let that happen. Like, let's say we stumble out of the gate and lose the first game. I don't think by any stretch the season is over or the season's ruined. Obviously, it sucks to start off with a loss, especially against that team. But I don't think that one game ruins the season. You win the ACC, you're in the playoff. If you go back, let's say you're in December, right? You go back and look at the season. Let's say we won 10 games. Got to the ACC championship game, won that game, which, by the way, is very doable no matter who we end up going against. You win that. You win your first ACC championship ever. You make the college football playoff for the first time ever. I think a stumble against Florida is going to be a very distant memory. But will they be able to bounce back after that mentally? I mean, the schedule's very favorable, especially those first few games after Florida. So it kind of sets up nicely if they do not win. Now, I think they should, and I honestly think they will. Just take care of the football, and I think everything's going to be all right. But yeah, I don't think it by any means ruins the season. But yes, you win that game, it launches you into like kind of like how that 2013 game against Florida propelled us. We won that game, and it propelled us to a 7-0 start. Now, that was a good roster with a lot of NFL guys. I think it was just poorly coached and poorly led. But I think I believe in momentum. And I think that win against Florida gave us a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence. Then, Stephen Morris got, hurt his Achilles, and they kind of kept that under wraps, and he wasn't 100%. Then Duke Johnson hurts his ankle. Then season kind of unraveled a little bit. And we end up finishing 9-3. Should have finished with at least 10 wins that year, but I digress. Let's see. Season's very young. A lot can happen from August to November. I don't think it'll be the toughest game. Let's see how everyone else is looking. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Look, I mean, Louisville might be way better than everybody thought. Virginia Tech might really surprise some people. I could see that. Georgia Tech, if they beat Florida State out of the gate, look out for them. So, no, you have a point. There's a couple of sneaky teams there in the ACC that are also on the rise that not a lot of people are talking about. You got to watch out for them. For now, on paper, I think Florida's our toughest game, or Florida State. How many times did Gary acknowledge Cam's leadership on Sunday show? Isn't it telling just how many times he highlighted that and culture? This team will set a new standard for years to come. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping this season has ripple effects for the future, because once you set the bar at a certain level, it should stay there. Like when De'Aaron King was our quarterback, he was a hell of a leader. Solid college quarterback, playmaker. He can make plays with his legs, decent arm. Smaller guy, though, and that worked against him at times. But, in big moments, he had big games. He thrashed FSU. He won a really fun shootout against NC State. I don't know if you guys remember that game, that Friday night game. That was all De'Aaron King. He multiple times that season put the team on his back. And we should have kept that standard up here. Standard dropped right after that because the culture wasn't there. Now the culture is there, and the money is there. Let's not gloss over that. I'm interested to see how the product looks against Florida. Yeah, that's the thing I'm most excited about. We've been talking about it and talking about it and talking about it for months now. It's time to stop talking and just get on the field, and let's go, and let's watch them play. Yes, Mike Harley's late touchdown. That was a fun game. It's a shame it happened during the pandemic, because it was at NC State, but I don't know how many fans they had there. Maybe 8,000, 10,000 people at the most. So that atmosphere would have been crazy any other season. What's up, John? Good to see you on. Yeah, go Canes, Brandon. Yeah, I'm gonna be back doing my lives every Tuesday night now. The season's almost here. I figured, you know what? Let me start up again. So I'll be doing Tuesday nights live, and I'll be doing a second live, usually sometime during the weekend. Home games, it's a little weird because I go to the home games, obviously. I don't want to hop on too early in the morning, because I've tried that before, to do like a pregame at like 9:30, 10 in the morning. But thing is, not a lot of people are watching, because A, people are at the tailgates already. B, the West Coast and Central people are like waking up. So it's like, the pregame idea didn't really work, didn't really take off, but maybe like I'll do post-game stuff. Maybe once I get back from the game, if it's at home, or I'll hop on immediately after if it's an away game. So, or at the very least, worst case, the next morning. So I'll be doing 2 lives now every week. Hey Wesley, what's going on? When's your next game? Oh, on PS5, it's coming. I'm banking some content, so I'll be releasing that soon. Flo, I think you all know this guy. Yeah, I recognize that logo. What's going on, man? Yeah, so I just can't wait. Like, again, I know I've said this a bunch of times, but like, fall camp is almost done. That's just the thing. That's the thing I'm antsy about. Just get through fall camp and, start the preparation for Florida. I almost wish we can just skip a week and get there already, but I'm sure there's some things they want to fine tune at that scrimmage. So hopefully it's competitive. Hopefully the offense and defense has their moments. Hope veterans and young guys make plays, and hopefully we continue to look good in the trenches. One place that I think if our running game gets rolling, because in this game, it's going to be one of those knockdown, drag out wars because it's week one. It takes a little time for an offense to gel and get rolling. We could see glimpses of that. We could see glimpses of that against Florida. I don't think it's going to be like super consistent, like drive after drive after drive, where we're just scoring on them. I would love for that to happen. I hope we win 48-7, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. So, it could be clunky at times. It could be, a mistake here and there. Hopefully not. Hopefully a mistake is just like a false start not like a 60-yard pick six or something. Or, hopefully it's not a fumbled handoff. Hopefully a mistake is like, a little false start, a little offsides. It's like, hey, let's calm down. Something that they can contain, because there's going to be that on both sides, I think. But, I think it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a physical war. If our running game gets rolling, if our offense gets going downhill, I don't see a scenario where they stop us, because then they're going to have to stack the box. If they stack the box, I think Cam Ward's going to shred you. Florida has a pretty solid defense. They have a good secondary. They got, Marshall's a good corner. Good safeties. They're disciplined, but if you're out physicaling them, I think it's going to wear on them during the game by like the third quarter, maybe late third quarter. They have to start stacking the box. Dude, Cam Ward can then start picking you apart, because at that point, he's going to be in the flow of the game. And then on the other side of the ball, I think that, well, first off, let me just make this one point on offense. They do have a disruptive D line, and they have a couple of D tackles like Cam Jackson, that dude that's almost like 400 pounds. He does make me a little nervous. If, Carpenter and Inez, whoever's on the interior, can do their job and hold him down, don't let him get into the backfield, honestly, I think we're going to be fine. On the defensive side, though, this is the matchup that I think is least favorable for Florida. Obviously, it's their O-line against our D-line, or against our front seven. I think we're going to throw waves of athletes at them, and Lance Guidry is going to be licking his chops, and he's going to be thinking of who to send on a blitz, and cause some havoc for Graham Mertz. Graham Mertz does a great job taking care of the football, gets rid of the ball quick. So Lance Guidry, he's had all offseason to devise a plan to see what he's going to throw at him. So Lance Guidry, in my opinion, is one of the best DCs in America. Top 10, top 15 coordinator easily in the country. Pretty much had a great game plan for every game last year, except the Louisville game. That one got us. But I think if you can take advantage of their weaker O-line, then you can cause Graham Mertz to make some mistakes, which is uncharacteristic of him. But again, you got to get past that offensive line. And if they get in a situation where they have to bring guys in to block, like they have to go more jumbo sets, then that kind of neutralizes that threat on the outside. You got Elijah Badger, you got the other kid, Eugene Wilson on the outside. You got some talent, you got some weapons on the outside, but if they have to move some pieces around to protect the quarterback, that can throw that whole thing off. You know what I mean? So they have to be able to stop our front four, and I think that's going to be the biggest challenge for Florida. Just don't turn the ball over. Yeah, that's number one concern of mine, Wes. Do not turn the ball over. You play a clean game, take care of the football, I think we're going to be fine. Yeah, I love that. I love that guy too. Hopefully we keep him for another year or two. I know other teams are going to come calling. If we can run the ball, we will flood them. Yeah, because think about it. You got Sam Brown, who's having an excellent fall camp. You got Isaiah Horton, who's also having an excellent fall camp, had an excellent spring. Sam Brown just got here. He's getting acclimated, but is already fitting in nicely. Has great speed. Best slot receiver in the country. Jacoby George, proven guy. He produced last year. He's just got to control himself, control his emotions. He's going to be fine. And now you're using tight ends. And you throw in the wrinkle of Elijah Lofton, who could be a matchup nightmare in the red zone. I don't know how much they're going to use him in game one, but I wouldn't be surprised if they target him a few times because he is a problem. Let's see. The 15 plus second heckle comp, so QB will also be interesting to see how it impacts the game. Yes, it will. The tight end should eat if they stack the line. Yeah. No, and now at tight end you have that you have kind of that dual threat of blocker and receiver, because when Cam McCormick was in last year, you knew he wasn't going to go out for a pass. And you knew in all likelihood, if it was a certain formation and he was in, you knew it was going to be a run. It was very predictable. Now, Arroyo is just as good, maybe even better of a blocker than McCormick is, which is impressive because McCormick's a hell of a blocker. You can have him in there and he could do either one. You know, that's another guy I can't wait to see is Arroyo. Do you know if the coaching staff has put any work this offseason to ensure a more successful season as far as coaching? I mean, I would imagine, you know, I don't know how you practice taking knees and calling timeouts. I mean, I think that's just something you just gotta say, you know what? I think I'm gonna switch up my methods a little bit. But I don't know. That's something that you work on, or is that something you just decide to do, or just listen, just listen to certain people on your staff. It's just do that. And again, if you have a lead with no time and team has no timeouts, obviously take a knee, but I think the only way we show that is if we win, honestly. Let's see. Everyone knew 100. What does that mean? Everyone knew 100. Let's see if I missed anything. Oh yeah, Herb, Texas running back out for the season. Stay away from injuries. Yeah, there's some people dropping out there, man. You got to be careful. You got to be real careful in these scrimmages. And I know Florida lost their running back, which I know sucks. It sucks to lose one of your top guys. That's another reason that I'm like, hey, you just lost one of your biggest offensive threats. Like that is not good. Okay. What do you think? What do you think the keys will be to victory against Florida? Well, like I just said, don't turn the ball over. That's number one. That's number one, number two, and number three. Don't turn the ball over. Play a clean game. A couple penalties here and there I can deal with because I know we were ranked pretty low last season as far as penalties, like penalty yardage that we gave up. But penalties is one thing. A penalty to me doesn't change a game unless it's like a roughing the punter penalty after a big stop. That can turn the tide of a game. Or roughing the passer on a third down where you just got a 3 and out. Those can really kill you. But obviously I don't want any penalties, but penalties don't hurt you as bad as giving the ball away. Because giving the ball away, one turnover can change an entire game. So you really got to be careful with those. But yeah, just taking care of the football, honestly. Ball security. Trying to think what else. Again, containing Cam Jackson at D tackle. He can be very disruptive. They got a couple of guys on their D line that are no joke. Let's not get it twisted. They got some athletes on their D line. Control them, create some holes, hit your assignments. Don't let them get into the backfield. Then I think we'll be okay offensively. That's one matchup that makes me a little nervous, specifically in the middle. And then Florida, they also have, like I said, 2 talented wide receivers on the outside. We have, in my opinion, the best corner tandem in the ACC with Damari Brown and Daryl Porter Jr. I think people will start to take notice of that a few games in. Daryl Porter had a sensational season last year before getting hurt, coverage-wise, and Damari looks like an NFL corner. And he's taken massive strides this offseason. Looked fantastic in the spring and looked fantastic and is, by all accounts, looking really good at fall camp. And then at linebacker, you got Kiko, you got Wes, who had an awesome spring. You're so much more bigger, faster, and stronger than you were 2 years ago. It's night and day. Oh, that's what you mean. Everyone knew 100%. Yeah. McCormick was in, we were running. Yeah. If McCormick was in and like that H-back spot with that certain formation that we were doing, yeah, like everyone in the building knew what the play was going to be. The crazy part is we still got yards on that play, on that formation, even though people knew what was coming. Defense scores points off turnovers. Exactly. Yeah, you can't score points off penalties. That's why I think it's kind of like an overrated thing. If your team is good enough, now I don't know if we're this good yet that you can overcome 100 yards of penalties, no problem. But I know Mario's teams at Oregon, they weren't like, they didn't play super clean ball. There were games where they were bit in the ass by penalties, but they were good enough to overcome it a lot of the time. Turnovers are way worse, in my opinion. Love Williams, but man, he has some tough penalties. Yeah. Let's see. Did I miss anything? All right. What do you guys think is another key to the game that I have not mentioned? You guys can throw it into the chat, because again, matchup wise, it's that, the D tackles versus our interior and their wide receivers versus our corners. I think we honestly have the advantage with a wide receiver versus corner matchup because of our front four getting after their quarterback. They're not going to have a lot of time to get the ball to them. Time of possession. All right. Time of possession is a good one because, again, if you keep Graham Mertz off the field, and that, because like you keep Graham Mertz and those playmakers off the field, and you force their defense to have to, like in any football game, really. But if you force their defense to be out there, especially in this game, because it's going to be hot, it's going to be muggy, it's going to be August 31st. Okay. Keep them out there, keep their defense out there as long as possible, punish them, beat them up the same way Mario went up and beat Ohio State. Okay. I'm forgetting the running back's name. It's right at the tip of my tongue. He ended up going to the league. They had a good running back combo actually at Oregon that year. They didn't have a great quarterback. Kayvon Thibodeau didn't even play. They won that game at the Horseshoe by ramming it down their throats, and they couldn't do anything about it. I think that's what Mario wants to be able to do with the threat of a great quarterback and the passing game as well. If they're so inclined to stack the box with 8 or 9 guys, then they're really screwed. Kick return and punt returner. Yes. Special teams. Special teams is always that X factor, because we almost let the A&M game get away from us last year because a punt was blocked. We ended up going down 10-0. It looked like it was going to get away from us fast. Thankfully, we didn't let it. We ended up coming back, winning the game decisively. So anything like that could kill you. You cannot let those special teams blunders happen. 2019 against Florida, the play, in my opinion, that changed that whole game was Jeff Thomas's muffed punt. He muffed the punt return after we not only had a lead, I think we had a 13-10 or a 17-13 lead at the time. We just made a huge stop. We're going to get the ball back again with a chance to extend the lead, and Jeff Thomas drops the punt. That changed the whole game. The punt block against A&M almost changed the whole game. Thankfully, it didn't. But then the year before, 2022, I think you guys remember Tyreek Stevenson. He would do that thing where he would let the ball bounce and then he would try to grab it and run. He tried that and it didn't work. It got punched out of his hand. And that was also after I think we made it 7-3 with a field goal. Then we got to stop. We're going to get the ball back with a chance to take the lead early in that game. And Stevenson makes a mental error, and we were playing from behind the rest of the game. So, yeah, you cannot let those things happen. Don't feel the punt inside the 10. If you're unsure of it, let it go. It's, as long as live to fight another day. It's not worth trying to force it. You know, if you don't think you're going to be able to get to make the catch or make the fair catch, let it go. Clear out of the way. Well, that game pissed me off. We shouldn't have lost to UF that night. Oh, I know. I'm well aware of that. We even had a chance to win it at the end. Remember, Romeo Finley got that pick and almost ran it back. And then we had the ball there at like the 20 or the 25. And we kept running this formation that left Zion Nelson on an island, true freshman Zion Nelson on an island, no help, no pass protection help whatsoever. And they were just teeing off on him. They figured out, oh, this kid's exhausted. He's a true freshman. Let's rush from that side. Yeah, it was just poor coaching all around. We got in the heat. We good in the heat. Mario won in the horseshoe. Shocked me. Yeah. It didn't totally shock me when I remember watching it when it was happening. I'm like, yeah, that's the form of bully ball he likes to play. Yes, that was Dan Enos. I remember watching those first two possessions on offense and thinking, oh my God, this is like dynamic. This is all these little bubble screens and quick slants and all that stuff. It's like, it looked really good. But then, you know, all of a sudden, the mistakes started to show and the youth on the O-line started to show. Yeah. I remember early in that game thinking, oh my God, Enos is a great play caller. But he had the whole offseason to script those plays. So, you know, force Morse to hold it longer than 3 seconds, bait, and sit in the passing lane. If he pumps the throw, it'll be too late. Bain and D-line will eat. I do think Bain and the rest of the D-line will eat if Mertz is not getting the ball out very quickly. Let's see. Get an early lead. Yeah, that would be huge, actually, if we get an early lead. In these early season games that might be a little tighter, every point matters. Yes, thank you. This is a great one, and I will end on this one. Thank you, Wes. Get 6, not 3 when you get into the red zone. Back in 2022, that is another thing that absolutely killed us in the A&M game and really sent the season on a tailspin from the beginning. Who knows if we just get into the end zone once on one of those possessions, you know, I think we win that game or not muff that punt. Just that game was right there. If we win that game on the road, things could have like gone on a totally different trajectory. Who knows? But I won't think back on that. But what I'm trying to say is it's going to be hot as hell. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is, yeah, you have those red zone opportunities. You got to cash in. Okay. And in 2024, I think our red zone scoring is going to improve dramatically. I know in 2023, it wasn't great. It was improved from 2022. I remember 2022 and even in the Rhett Lashley years, we would get inside the 5 and we would have problems for whatever reason. We just could not move that line. We could not get that push to get those 2-3 yards and get in the end zone. It continued into 2022. A lot of that was injuries, but they just didn't have the want to. They just could not get that push for whatever reason. We would run. I remember the North Carolina game, 1st and goal on the 1, and we couldn't punch it in. It was insane. It improved in 2023 a lot, but we still had a ways to go. I think with the way we're going to scheme things and the mismatches that we're going to create in the red zone with tight ends and things like that, and Cam Ward's ability to run, and then you got Damian Martinez, who's just a human sledgehammer. Our red zone scoring, again, I don't know how highly it was ranked last year, but it's going to improve from whatever it was. So that's not something I'm concerned about, to be quite honest with you. I would love, again, getting an early lead, cashing in those red zone trips. If we jump out to a 7-0, 14-0 lead early, it could be a wrap real quick. But yeah, you got to cash in on those opportunities. Not like having to settle for field goals every time in A&M. That killed us. We win that game, we probably get another season of gas. That's true. That's a good point. You know what? Maybe everything happened for a reason. it forced us to kind of clean house and cleanse the program right out of the gate. And it exposed what a mess Mario had on his hands. We all knew that it was a mess. I think he knew it was a mess. I just didn't know. I just don't think he knew how bad it was. Any shot G Tech upsets Florida State in week 0? Absolutely, I think there's a shot. Listen, that's a long flight to Ireland, okay? That is a long flight. That's a country they've never been to before. Both teams, all the little monkey wrenches that can be thrown into that game. It could rain. It's rainy that time of year. If it gets into a situation where it's like bully ball against bully ball, well, Uyunglele, he's very tough to bring down. So I don't know. That game could have like a very old school feel to it. My physical against your physical, like who's going to win? G Tech is one of those teams on the rise in the ACC. Their coach is heading into his 3rd year, and they have some athletes. Not going to lie to you. And Haynes King is a pretty good quarterback. So we will see. Weird things can happen in week 1. Well, and that's in this case week 0. But weird things can happen. Different time zone, different, a lot of different monkey wrenches thrown into this thing. So, yeah, G Tech can definitely upset Florida State. I'm not a betting guy. I'm not telling you to bet, but, the line is 12.5 in favor of Florida State. That's a big line. I'm surprised it was that big. I was expecting like a touchdown favorite or something like that. Not almost a 2 touchdown favorite. But anyway, that's it for me. I'm going to go ahead and log off now, get some rest, but thank you guys for hopping on, chopping it up with me. Wow, minus, yeah, 12.5. Minus 12.5, dude. At least that's what I saw. But anyway, please don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Please check out my gaming content that I'm also doing on this channel. I'll be dropping more probably in the next week or so. I have some that I'm banking right now that I'll go releasing slowly. Yes, vote for me. Yes, thanks. Shout out to the Discord. You guys are super supportive as always. I know a bunch of you guys are in here right now. By the way, no suck. Yes, thank you. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys. Some of you guys at the watch party. We still got a couple of weeks to go. I'll be on again next Tuesday. I will try to have a guest and get ready for the season to start because it's pretty much here. Anyways, gonna log off as always. Go Canes. Everyone have a good night.